Hello, hello, hello. I'm talking to a lot of people in the world, and we're talking about some music that we just made, and this is a pleasure. So how could I not be great?
For doing this interview, I was checking, and another Spanish website published an interview that you had yesterday with them.
Yeah.
I thought that there was a time when somebody tells in Germany that your band, were the new Blind Guardian. And I was thinking,
Come on, please don't do this again.
Yes, how are the things changed since then?
I can explain that again. The thing is, this Blind Guardian thing, when we did our first record, I mean, we count the history of Orden Ogan from 2008 on. There was this record called Veil that was released. And when we did the first record, the German rock hard, they wrote Orden Ogan is the only legitimate Blind Guardian successor. And then the German Metal Hammer, they wrote Orden Ogan is the new Running Wild. And since Running Wild and Blind Guardian are nothing alike, AFM thought it would be a great idea to write that into the band info. Like for the one guys, they are the new Blind Guardian. For the other guys, they are the new Running Wild. So just to illustrate that Orden Ogan had their unique sound, And from that day on, it was very, very interesting. It was just being picked up by journalists. I never heard that from any fans of the band, and also the funny thing is, fans don't seem to think that we sound like Blind Guardian, and we don't think we sound like Blind Guardian, and Blind Guardian also don't think we sound like Blind Guardian, because I had this conversation with Marcus from Blind Guardian. He was also like, I don't get it. I don't understand why people would think that Orden Ogan sounds like Blind Guardian. We do it totally differently, and Orden Ogan has a super unique sound. So I don't get where this comparison comes from. So, and I really have to say, I didn't hear that for a while now. Like people are basically talking about Orden Ogan, but not about. I mean. This is the first time what your friend wrote there in the other magazine. It's the first time that I heard that in a while. Like for years, I didn't hear that anymore.
So to me, you didn't sound like Blind Guardian, but part of the situation is that when a big magazine say something like that, a lot of smaller magazine websites, whatever, repeat and repeat and repeat again.
Yeah.
And then it's an endless situation.
Yeah.
I would like to ask you a little about it, because to me, when I read this, I didn't know. When I read this today, I said, no. Yes, but for your previous CD and now for this CD Final Days, you are the producer. And okay, I understand when you produce for another band, but in the case of your band, how can you manage with all of this? Because since you produce, and I'm sure that you are aware of the writing process and the guitar sound and a lot of things, how can you deal with that?
Actually, I started I basically produced from the very beginning, and the first record that I mixed as well, that was the Eastern Hope record in 2010. And from that day on, I was doing everything with Orden Ogan. And the reason for doing that is because I didn't trust anyone else with our music. I wanted to be able to really record and mix it in a way that I would like it to sound like, if you understand what I mean. I really wanted to make my musical vision into reality. And obviously, it takes a while to learn the craft and to be really good at what you do. It really needs a lot of practice. It was very much worth it because now I'm also working with these other great bands like Rhapsody of Fire, Brainstorm, Asphyx, you name it, Ross the Boss, whatever. In case of Orden Ogan, it's more, I'm writing, I don't know, like 95% of all the music anyway myself. And so I'm also recording the guitar riffs and a lot of stuff, and most of the lead guitars, obviously the vocals and everything. And in case of Orden Ogan, it is like this. I have a vision in my head on how I think this all should sound like, and then I will be working towards that goal. And when you say like I have to deal with all these keyboards, it's not that I have to deal with all these keyboards. I actually come up with the ideas to put that stuff in. I'm really sitting down and say, okay, we need more stuff like this and that, and then I will search for it and try to make it work. Yeah, it can be a bit tiring at times. It takes a lot of time to get that done. You know, it's not that we get in the studio and after 2 days the record is done. It takes months to get that done, especially if you are like a terrible perfectionist than I am. So
Yes.
I always want to do the very best of everything, and then of course it just takes time. But it's very, very rewarding. I mean, in the end, there's the record, and yeah, I just said that in another interview. I'm basically doing this just for myself. It is my way of expressing myself. It is the music that I would love to hear from other bands, and that is not out there. So there is no band, to my opinion, that sounds like Orden Ogan. And so yeah, it's very, very great to have this record done in the end and be able to listen to it like from a fan's perspective.
I understand perfectly this sense of nobody does it better, or it's my son and I take care of it, of him or her better than any other person.
Yeah.
Yes. In this record, an important part of the music are the choirs and vocal harmonies. But
thank you.
in general term, Seeb, how can you make with the choirs and vocal harmonies? Because I check, and in the line now, they say that you are the only vocal player. So, and the rest of the band sings?
No, I mean, when it comes to records, we of course have other people who are also helping us out. You know, when we were basically recording all the choirs, we did that with a very nice little group of people. There was Steff from Van Canto singing with us, Andy from Brainstorm, and some other guys who were in that choir, and also a couple of girls, you know. So of course, for the recordings, we bring in other people. It is the same like when we have other instruments, like orchestral instruments. We don't play everything ourselves, you know.
Yes.
So if we have a violin or whatever, we will bring a violin player just to play that part. If we don't want to do it with a keyboard or stuff like that, yes. So of course, I don't do the female choirs myself. That would be weird.
In this CD, this work that you did was really, really, really extraordinary. Yes,
thank you.
This CD made my afternoon.
Thank you.
With all this choir and the music, the vocal harmonies. Well, I like it a lot. And another thing that I like it a lot is that each of your CDs are a different story. Not a different story, I will say a different imagery or so. There are different ideas, but all the ideas revolve, in this case, around dark science fiction. When you released Gunmen, you were thinking the next movement, for example, the next CD will be about the space or something like that?
It was no, it happened a bit differently. With Gunmen, when we had written the first two songs had these Wild West guitar melodies and harmonies to it. So we were thinking, oh, okay, maybe we will do a Wild West kind of record because it sounds like that anyway. And as for Final Days, it was a bit different. We are a band that tries to be very close to their audience. So if we can, it gets more and more difficult as Orden Ogan gets bigger and bigger. But if we can, we will go off stage and go to the merch stand and talk to people, give autographs, take pictures, you know, have a drink with the people. It's always very rewarding because you also hear like all these great stories on what the music means to the people and how it helped them over dark times and stuff like that. So that's always great. When we were basically done with the Gunmen record, there were a lot of people coming to us saying something like, you have been in a apocalyptic ice world, and then you had these monks on the artwork, and now you are in the Wild West with zombie cowboys or ghost cowboys or whatever. What is next? You can't go anywhere. Do you want to go to space or what? And if people ask you that for like 100 times, then you are like, yeah, well, maybe we should go to space. You know, if they are all asking us that, then maybe we should come up with that idea. And this is what we did then with Final Days. So yeah, I wouldn't necessarily say it was by fan request, but it was some sort of self-fulfilling prophecy, maybe, So that was that. Yeah.
Yes, when I saw that the title of the CD was Final Days, I was thinking of the lockdown and this situation. But then, listening to the lyrics, I discovered that part of the lyrics absolutely were written before the lockdown. No?
Yes, totally. I mean, the thing is, concerning the lyrics, there were a couple of songs that were dealing with the final days of mankind and with different stories. Like It Is Over is about an asteroid hitting the Earth. In the Dawn of the AI is basically about an artificial intelligence that will be that is going to be a threat for mankind. Funny side note, as you mentioned it, is there was actually a song about a killer virus as well, and we decided to not put it on the record because we thought it was highly inappropriate with the situation that is rising right now. And
Yes.
we will bring that out. We will bring that out later on, as soon as this COVID thing is getting better, because it's also a good song. But it didn't feel right to put it on the record. And another thing that I do a lot of times is that I will take a field of words that is connected to our theme, and build metaphors with that actually mean something totally different. So, for example, you have a song called Black Hole on the record, which obviously from the field of words is connected to, if you think black hole, you will think about space and sci-fi, of course.
Yes.
But actually, the song is about the feeling that the weight of your own depression is dragging you down, So it's a song about depression, actually. And also this track, Heart of the Android, people were thinking it is about the obvious thing, the question of if a machine at a certain point is getting a personality, if it is advanced enough. But it was not about that. Actually, Heart of the Android is about a song about a person that is feeling that it just has to function and is just doing what other people are expecting him to do and not really living his life, if you understand what I mean.
Yes.
So I really love to build metaphors in this with the words that are connected to the theme, but actually mean something totally different. I think this is, for me personally, this is big fun, and it's also always great when people that are listening to your music, when they discover that, you have from time to time, you have people coming to like, oh, I just understood what this song is about. That is so great. And I always have to laugh about this because it's awesome, because then you're listening to the song from a totally different perspective from that day on.
This was my case too.
Mm-hmm.
The worst part it was that when I was listening Black Hole, I was thinking of the movie from Anthony Perkins, and then I checked and I knew that Black Hole is not exactly about a black hole in the space.
Mm-hmm.
But I said, okay, maybe it was because the Black Hole is the movie and Anthony Perkins is the main character, and Anthony Perkins was a depressed person, and then I pressed yes.
Okay.
I tried to link it, but it was almost impossible. So this is the reason why I would like to ask you, do you inspire in books, in films, in the real life? What is your source of inspiration?
I think when you are a real musician, then everything that comes your way is some sort of an inspiration. I personally try to break free of all of that and don't try to. I mean, it is totally okay to write a song about a certain topic or about a movie or whatever. You can do that, but a lot of the time it's just my way of expressing myself when I'm writing these tracks. And I mean, especially in my case, as long as I can remember, I have nothing but music in my head, and I'm really not kidding. It is I have this day in, day out, and especially when you're a music producer as well. When I'm sitting in a pub and there are friends around and we're sitting on the same table and there's music going in from a loudspeaker somewhere in the pub, it is almost like as if there's another person talking to me constantly, because I will listen to all the details of the music while I'm talking to the other guys. It's always at the same time. It is And when you're let's say a good musician, and you can really understand what you're hearing. I mean, in my case, it is like this. If it's not like super complicated, if it's like a normal song, you can give me an acoustic guitar and say play along, and I will be able to play along to the song as soon as I hear it, even if I hear it for the first time, because I'm just understanding what is happening. I know which chords they are going on, and I know what the drummer is doing and stuff. And especially as a producer, it's even more terrible, because then you will be listening to EQs and compression and delays and reverbs and stuff like that. Yeah, like I said, it's in my case, it's I'm always trying to do my very own thing. So it's not that I'm really sitting down and try to find inspiration. I don't need that. Because I'm always inspired enough by myself, if that makes any sense. I'm always have this feeling inside of me that I have to do something and write music and get ideas out, And I don't know where they come from. They are like they're somewhere. Maybe they're in the air, like floating around. Like the ideas. Sometimes it's like they're like right before you in the air, and you can just grab them out of thin air.
When I saw that you had an accident and you broke one of your finger, I thought that maybe this situation will be solved in the future. But I was thinking that maybe one day you are on the stage and you feel really good and you are crazy. I say, give me a guitar, I'm going to do something special tonight.
Yeah, actually, something like a little bit similar to that happened already, because we were playing the Prog Power Festival last year. No, not last year, in 2019 in USA, in Atlanta.
Yes.
And our guitar player Toby, who had some problems in the last years anyway, and now he was switched for Patrick. He couldn't make it like very, very short term. He basically told us like a couple of hours before the flight that he couldn't go to Atlanta. So we were there and we were thinking, okay, what now? What can we do? Luckily, our lights engineer, Dave, he's also a good guitar player, and he knew all the songs because he's with us on the road for all the time. So he took over the bass, and Niels was already on the guitar, and I took also guitar and played guitar there. That was basically the last time maybe then that this happened. But the guys in Atlanta were pretty happy, because it was the last time seeing me play guitar on stage. I mean, it might happen in the future just for fun, if there's some situation, I might be picking that up. But actually, I feel pretty comfortable just singing on stage right now.
Yes, the interview is almost finishing. So I would like to say, if you want to tell something to your Spanish fans or so, because I know that you are preparing a tour for February 2022.
That's right. I'm not sure if I said that in the other Spanish interview, but there's one thing that I try to repeat right now at the moment, because I think it's important. I mean, of course, we will be on tour in 2022 then, and we would love to see all our Spanish fans. But the thing that is more important to me right now is that I really have to say, the most important thing for everyone is to stay healthy right now. This is not, I mean, I don't think it's the worst virus of all time, but it's certainly not harmless, So yes. I don't want to have it. And please, guys, take care of yourself and don't try to not get it. The even more important thing is actually, I mean, I know that there are a lot of people right now out there who are, getting depressions or feel really depressed and really down, and a lot of people are losing their jobs and the economy is going down and stuff like that. And it might look very bad right now, but the one thing that I really want to tell the people is don't give up. I mean, there will be better times coming. This is not the end of the world. It will get better at a certain point. So just hang on and try to go through this. And it's not the end of the world. Even if you lose your job and stuff like that, it will be better at a certain point. And heads up, and try to make the best out of it. And especially if you buy the new Orden Ogan record, then you will feel a lot better.
Yes, of course.
So that is my final words.
Okay, Seeb, thank you. Yes, I understand perfectly what you say, because even in the sunny Spain, the people are depressed.
Yes,
it's really difficult.
I really say that in every interview right now, because I think it's a really important message. Because I also I know people, or at least I know about people who already took their lives because they think everything is so bad. And it's really this is really important for me to tell the people right now, don't give up. It's, I mean, I'm really I really feel it that way. It's not the end of the world. It will get better.
Thank you very much, Seeb, for your time. I really appreciate this CD and appreciate this conversation.
Yeah, it was a big fun. Thank you.
Yes, have a good day.
You too.
Enjoy the week.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, Seeb.